Have you ever had that feeling where you are just constantly fighting the clock, only to get to the end of the day and feel like you've completely lost the battle? Well, in this explainer, we are going to dig into exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how you can go from feeling totally stuck to taking action that feels effortless and, inspired. All right, let's get into it. This line from a poem in our source material just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's that sinking feeling we all know. That moment you realize you've been so busy, so frantic, trying to manage every single second, that the most precious time has just slipped right through your fingers. And that really brings us to the core question here. Is time actually the enemy? Or are we maybe at war with ourselves? The source material we're looking at suggests that our big struggle with the clock, it's often just a symptom of a much deeper internal fight. So, to really understand this internal conflict, we first have to take a look at our relationship with time itself. We tend to treat it like something we have to control, something to manage. But what if that very approach is the thing that's holding us back? Think about how we talk about it. We spend time, we respect time, we show up on time. We basically treat it like cash. But here's the thing our source highlights with a quote from Jim Rohn: you can always go out and make more money, right? But you can never, ever make more time. And this is where things get really interesting. There's a huge difference between losing time, say to a traffic jam you couldn't control, and wasting it. The real key here is intention. If you decide to chill out and watch some cat videos, hey, that's intentional downtime. But if your goal is to be productive and you find yourself endlessly scrolling instead, that's a big red flag. It's a sign of a massive disconnect between what you say you want and what you actually do. Wow, this is such a powerful idea from the source. It's a stark reminder that time is completely impartial. It doesn't care about our feelings. It doesn't do favors or wait around for us to finally get our act together. The clock just keeps ticking, no matter our plans, our excuses, or our best intentions. You just can't negotiate with it. Okay, so if time isn't the real bad guy here, then what is? Well, the source suggests the answer is inside of us, and it uses this incredible analogy to explain the struggle: the ant and the elephant. What's really holding us back are things like procrastination, like one speaker who talked about taking months just to clear out some junk, or fear, like another who kept putting off starting a community garden. See, these aren't just time management problems. They're signs of a deep, deep battle between what we want to do and what we're actually doing. And this analogy just captures that conflict perfectly. Your conscious mind, that's the ant. It's tiny, it's logical, it sits right on top of the elephant, making all these great plans, yelling, hey, we should go this way. But your subconscious mind, that's the elephant. It is massive, it's emotional, and it follows its own deep-seated, powerful drives. Now, the little ant can try to steer all at once, but if that elephant decides to go in the opposite direction, well, we all know who's going to win that fight. So here's the absolute key takeaway. You are going to feel stuck, you are going to procrastinate, and you'll feel like you're fighting yourself until you get that elephant on your side. Real, meaningful progress only happens when your conscious goals and your subconscious drivers are finally pointed in the same direction. So how in the world do we get the elephant on our side? The solution, as this next section explains, is to stop trying to fix all the little surface-level problems and start asking the deeper questions that get right to the root of the issue. The source gives us this fantastic fishing metaphor. Instead of getting tangled up in all the little problems swimming near the surface, you drop your line way, way down deep to find that single root cause. And when you finally find the answer to that one foundational question, it's amazing because it often solves all the other problems on the way back up. But, getting to those deep answers isn't always so easy. And that's because our brains have this default setting to judge. When we see a behavior in ourselves we don't like procrastination, our first instinct is to label it. I'm so lazy, or this is bad. And that just slams the door on any chance of actually understanding the real reason behind it. The key, as the source puts it so beautifully, is to swap out that judgment for curiosity. This is shown so powerfully in the story of a woman in a care home who was acting out. Instead of judging her, a caregiver got curious, started asking deeper questions, and uncovered this heartbreaking story of neglect. That one simple act of curiosity changed everything for her. So here's how we can actually use that for ourselves. Instead of beating yourself up, get curious. Don't ask, why am I so lazy? No! Instead, try asking, what could be the reason I'm not doing this? Or, even more powerfully, as this slide suggests, ask, what is it costing me to keep avoiding this? See how that reframes everything? It turns it from a personal failing into a puzzle you can solve with compassion. And when you do this deep, curious work and you finally align your conscious goals with your subconscious drivers, man, something amazing happens. You unlock this state of effortless action and creativity. This is the famous flow state, and I bet you've felt it before. It's when you're so absorbed in something that time just seems to melt away. That's the state where your ant and your elephant are in perfect harmony, moving together with a single intense focus. You're not thinking about what you're doing, you're just doing it. And the really big secret here is that in a state of flow, action comes first. You don't sit around waiting for motivation to strike. You just begin. And that feeling of satisfaction, of accomplishment, that comes as a result of the work, not as something you need before you can start. And what's really cool is this state of flow isn't just for you working alone. The source talks about creative collaboration as this process where different ideas come together to create something totally new, something better than what any one person could have done by themselves. As the slide shows, the greatest wins often come not from competition, but from collaboration. When it all boils down to it, everything we've talked about comes down to this one powerful, memorable idea. To overcome that inertia, to get your elephant moving in the right direction, your reason for doing something has to be way more compelling than your reason for not doing it. Your why has to completely overpower your why bother. So by understanding the real reasons you get stuck and by approaching yourself with curiosity instead of judgment, you can unlock a state of flow, where action feels effortless and time becomes your friend, not your enemy. This is about more than just getting things done. It's about creating a life that's truly aligned with your deepest values. So the only question left is, what will you create?